Guys,
We're good
welcome
now.
to Beatbox. We're good now. Feedback's going insane. Check.
I think we're
Okay.
good.
So what's up, everybody? You're tuned into another episode of Beatbox. It's your boy Chillin' Dylan, Jesus of SoundCloud, Black Tom Anderson, and your favorite rapper still owes me money. And I'm joined by my lovely co-host,
Boxy Box. Hi, guys.
Hey.
It's the show that you wait for all week long. Or really, it's just right there at the beginning of your week, like a good friend, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, we like to start our week off strong. We like to start our week off healthy. And we just want to start off wholesome. June's coming to close. We're officially in summer. So let's check on mental health first. Foxy, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, so Dylan and I have kind of been like trading off, talking about certain things. You know, one week he'll have a great idea. And this week Dylan was like, why don't you think about what you'd like to talk about for mental health check-in? And I was talking with my mom this morning about it. And I asked her, I was like, if you were searching for like some kind of like words of advice or something to like that you feel like would be helpful, like what would like a mental health tip or like a topic or something, be to help you? And she was just thinking but by her just participating in the conversation, it made me think about like communication. And we're in this age of like self-advocating, and like we're supposed to be, being true to ourselves and speaking up for ourselves and being like, hey, I don't like this, or this is what works for me. And I think that a lot of times, when we're in those situations, it's easy to forget the other person that you're communicating with, and that they're also on their own path of like honing in on what works for them in their life, communication wise, things like that. And so I wanted to talk about, learning that balance of like self advocating, respecting other people's needs.
Yeah, I think when it comes to self-advocating, you gotta, number one, treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
So I think that, when you establish a certain level of communication that like, hey, you know what, if it's a phone call at a certain time, okay, you could do that. And there's a way to say things without being like, you could be assertive but not aggressive, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like we were saying today, like for me, it's like, when we get into long-winded text messages and we don't want to get into novel exchanges. So that simple act like picking up the phone is like, super important, just at least for me, because like the longer text messages are great for leaving messages, they're not great for having conversations. People
Right.
have conversations with them all the time, but it's like that's really not what it should be used for.
And I think that in the age of technology and things like that, and as people get older that have only really lived in the age of technology, before, my friend that's here sitting here with me, her name's Courtney. You guys can meet her in a few minutes if you'd like. But we were just talking before I went live about we experienced life like pre-technology and as it was coming in and things like that, and we had to pay for things like sending a picture message. We had to pay for
Wow.
things like each text message costs money and stuff. So we had to like really use like our communication skills in a different way, than now. People will often, their meaning is lost in translation and like sending it as a text because instantly somebody's going to be overwhelmed by it rather than, the intention of you laid it all out there and you want it to be taken in. Instead, it's more likely to not be. And this is something that I deal a lot with because I am like a block texter. I will text because I'm a talker also. And so it's like, for me, it's like my brain doesn't know, like, should I talk this? Should I text this? Who am I communicating with? And so it's figuring out that communication style with your communication partner and, being aware of what works for you.
Yeah, I'll do the block. I don't mind writing novels, but if there's going to be questions for another person within there, and we're going back and forth with more and more questions, it's like we got to get on the call. Barry loves boobs. How you doing?
Well, Barry, I have boobs. Where you're in good company.
You've come to the right place.
Well, my friend, welcome to the thickness.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think that a lot of it though is that we're in an age of like understanding mental health for like the complex thing that it is, and you know, we also have to be aware of like, hey, like we're not perfect either. So just love each other, and if you want to be treat others how you want to be treated. You know, the age old saying.
Exactly. Yeah, it's treat others how you want to be treated. But you know, at one point I think like right before the pandemic, communication kind of plummeted to like this all-time low where people just weren't understanding each other, and then too much got lost in textlation. And then I think with the pandemic, the gift of that was just like all of this time. Ooh, look at my arms. I've been in the gym. Okay. Good choice with the tank top. Good job, Dylan. But
We're
yeah,
all about self-love here. Like,
yeah.
look at Dylan's arms, you guys.
Hey.
Looking good. The green.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, I guess we could just dive on into our next topic. Oh, no pun intended, but oh.
That was a good one. And we're going to dive on in, guys. We're going to talk about the submarine saga of an era.
Yep.
So, if you've been living under a rock or maybe under the sea, you maybe have not heard about the Titan submersible voyage to go to the depths of where the Titanic crashed to do some good old exploring.
Hmm.
So, our friends that rest in peace, our dear rich friends that decided it was such a wonderful idea to pour all of this money into this death trap. They put a lot of faith in this company, and they suffered for it. And I think what pisses me off the most about this, and not to be ranty, and I'm not going to, but what pisses me off is all of the money that was spent on search and shit that could have just been like, hey, let's use this to like create housing while, you know, people can't even afford to live or something. It's just insane to me.
I felt like this was such a luxury hobby for them, and you know, I forgive me if I'm not empathetic or sympathetic to these people, but also I think when in just today's news climate and in today's frequent um, frequent bad news world, it's like I'm almost tragedy desensitized when you hear something like this. And
Right.
and the fact that they were using a Logitech controller to move this submarine, like I don't know how big this thing was, but something tells me a little less. I probably got something the size of this thing should not be used to control a fucking submarine, guys.
And why would so? And if you're spending $250,000 per person aboard this fucking death trap, wouldn't you think that you'd put a little more money into like the whole entire like process?
Yeah, it just, unfortunately, hey Destiny, unfortunately, it just kind of sounds like rich people problems. It's a little sticky. I don't know how to really say
Well,
that, but
people's argument is, well, what about the 19-year-old? And my sister brought up a really, really good point. So you know the scenario where it's like the humanity thing where like, well, there's this train and it's going out of control and you pull the lever and it kills 5 people, but you save this person, or you kill the one person for the greater good kind of thing. And I'm not saying like, I'm sorry, unalive, sorry. Um, but like it's like how many people could have potentially been harmed by the recklessness of somebody with that much money and going into like the problems of the world and like, I don't know, nice way to think about it.
you know what? I hear you. It's like, is it lose one and save five, or is it lose four and save one? So you obviously want to lose less, but RIP to the victims, but the whole thing just kind of sounded like calamity from the jump.
Money doesn't buy smarts.
Yeah. And let me just say this, guys, if you continue to keep letting us know in the comments if you're experiencing audio issues, we'll do something about it. This is like kind of spur of the moment thing. We decided to add the Palm Instagram just to see if we could get more viewers from that side in there. But yeah, I'm hearing echoing a little bit too, so we might have to switch something around or kick myself off.
Yeah, I have no introspective look on this because I'm live. Will you go turn on the live and see how our audio is for me? Yeah. Real quick. Thank you. I have a lovely, beautiful blonde assistant here that's going to go ahead and do a sound check for us. So, yeah. Too bad, so sad, rich people. I'm so sorry for you. Maybe you should take this as a lesson.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
it's very telling that we as a society are kind of all of us like meh about this because I think it's about that time for a revolution. I don't know what you guys think, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't
I think
want
we're
to get too
there.
political on here, but I feel like next year is going to be the election is going to be like kind of a telltale thing of
Yeah.
like, what's next to come.
Yeah, I guess time will tell, but we ain't political here on Beatbox. We're about the music and the mental.
we'll
You know,
get there. We'll get there.
yeah.
Future. Maybe not
Yeah.
myself on camera, but a future show on Palm
Well,
could
little known Foxy
tiptoe to that.
fact is that when I was in college, I was focusing on political science. So,
Interesting.
kind of, I was going to be a lawyer, guys. I was going to be something.
You still are something.
It's jumping back and forth from not echoing to echoing.
So it's jumping back and forth from echoey, and then it won't, and then it goes back in.
I guess we're just gonna have to. The show must go on, so we'll have to hear this afterwards. And if it
Yeah.
sucks, I mean, hey, welcome to the beginning of something great.
That's the breaks, kids. You want us live? We're live and real. You
Yeah.
get the rawness. So yeah, in other news, this is a really fun one that I was researching today is the Jim Jones and Pusha T beef going on.
Yeah. Now my question is, how did this get started? Because Jim Jones ripped him a new one, and Pusha T is no stranger to beef at all. I mean, his beef a few years ago with Drake was hilarious.
Yeah.
When he was going at Birdman, before that, was crazy too, and even they had a song together. But yeah, I'm curious, like, how did this begin?
Well, my curiosity was also kind of trying to get to like, okay, where'd this start? So from my research is how this began was this just seems like fucking South Park. Like life just seems like South Park at this point. So apparently Pharrell Williams is now like the fashion director for Louis Vuitton. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, after Virgil
Crazy.
passed away.
And shout out to Pharrell because he was like my first like intense crush as a child. I was like, I have to marry this skating man that makes this music. I loved him so much. When NERD came out, I was like fucking mind blown, dude.
I was too.
Yeah, that was
In
a
search
big
of.
moment because I loved hip hop and I loved skateboarding, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is cool. You remember It's Almost Over Now? That was the one where they're skating around, right? So Clips, then we know that Pharrell has worked with Clips, which is Pusha T and
No Malice, formerly known
yeah,
as Malice.
and I loved also Clips. Clips has always
The
put out
brothers.
really good music. So Pharrell was holding the Louis Vuitton fashion show, and they premiered a new Clips song there. Well, in the Clips song, they said something. It was something along the lines like there was a line in it that was offensive, but like kind of like not like super blatant. But Jim Jones kind of got a little pissy about it, and so then he was on Rap Caviar, which is another podcast. And so when he was on Rap Caviar, they were talking about the Billboard's list that they had just put out of the top 50 rappers, and Pusha was on there, and Jim Jones said that he didn't deserve this spot, and then he put the person on the podcast on the spot, and he was like, sing five of his records right now. Sing 5 songs, basically, is what he said. And that's what he was like trying to say that he was irrelevant. But basically then it went on to the song that Clips put out that premiered at the Louis Vuitton fashion show. And then of course, Jim Jones popped back at him and put out another song. I actually took some screenshots of the lyrics, but I forgot about them until this moment. But there was one of them that was really funny that I think maybe it was Jim Jones was saying, and he was like saying like he didn't know anything about beef other than like Arby's, and like he's going through the drive-through at McDonald's. That's the only Big Mac he knows. Like, dude, it was fucking funny. Like,
Right. Because Pusha T did do those commercials for Arby's. Yeah.
so I really I wish I would have pulled those up, but since both of my phones have the screenshots on them, I can't do it right now. But there's a lot more that went into it, and it's been back and forth. And then I think that you had seen that Jadakiss had tuned in, and Jada was like, I don't like where this is going, guys.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is that, well, I like to see hip hop as a competitive sport, but let's say if this was boxing, we'd be watching two geezers at Skeezers. Two geezers at Caesars. Pipes, what up? Pipes, we need to talk. Yeah, because like you think about Pusha T and Jim Jones. I mean, these guys have been in the game for decades,
Mm-hmm.
and Pusha T's kind of one of those that you don't want it with him. It's because it's like number one, he's got like the street cred, and then number two, he's got the bars. And Jim Jones is the same thing. Like I was never, you know what I'm saying, like a big Dipset fan, but in the last couple of years, I got really into like Jim Jones' shit because like listening to like his projects with Harry Fraud and then listening to We Set the Trends that he put out with DJ Drama. So over time, like I've become, a Jim Jones fan, and it's just like you don't want to pick a side, but I'm like, hey, Capo, get him, honestly,
Which is
because
funny because I've always really liked Pusha. So like so I guess we got beef now, Dylan.
oh shoot, damn, Dipset and
Yeah, Clips.
Clips.
Like I said, Clips was kind of mind blowing a little bit too. Like I remember being like, this is good fucking music when I was younger. Like I didn't really have anybody showing me hip hop like in my life, Like I wasn't listening. It was all on my own, off of like, oh damn, I heard this song like in this game. Like we've talked about, Grand Theft Auto or like Tony Hawk, like video game stuff, or like hearing it like in a commercial and being like, oh, I like this, or on TRL. TRL was like a huge thing that put me onto music.
I mean, for me, growing up a hip hop kid, I was always aware of Clips. When Grinding came out, that blew my mind. I was in my mind, I had music video. That's funny. In my mind's a Pharrell album, but mentally, I had like visions of music videos of like me at a party in like my Halloween costume, looking all cool. When the last time you heard it like this?
Yeah, smoke some, drink some, get ripped. That was my favorite. That came out when I was like in the 7th grade. That time for like rap music was so good. We had like Trick Daddy, like Petey Pablo.
Speaking of Trick Daddy, I saw him last night on the BET Awards, and like that was kind of cool to see that he still had it. They're shouting out like every region. I saw the New York one and the Miami one and the Atlanta one. So like, yeah, that was dope. But nah, man, I want to see where this beef goes as long as it doesn't get violent. And I don't think these dudes in their 40s with kids and real money like are gonna do that. But
well, that's what our
I
friend
think
Jadakiss is worried about. He doesn't want it to
yeah,
get violent, guys.
I think it's making for some good content, and so far so good. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it was fun to read into. I would definitely, if you guys are interested in hearing more about this story, do some research and read the lyrics to the
Yeah.
2 songs. Well, it was a freestyle that Jim Jones put out, and then it was like the song that Clips put out. So
Right on. Okay. Moving
yeah,
on in music news, Blueface got on his Instagram this week and said he's only signing moms to MILF Music. He's going to start a label called MILF Music. And then he said, under the condition, your baby daddy is your only reference.
yeah.
Like, the more hate, the better.
Yeah,
Well,
he said, I don't care. Listen, he is like, your baby daddy's your only reference. If he can vouch for you, that you're in. But like, when it comes down to like, if you post something on the internet, I would rather see 100 bad haters on there hating on you than 10 good reviews. He wants the haters. He wants a controversial MILF records. That's what he wants to do. And he said, you don't even have to have talent. Like he'll write it for you as long as your baby daddy can vouch for you. So I'm thinking that I'm going to start a rap career.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Foxy signs to MILF Records. Okay.
Hit me up, Blueface.
Yeah. I mean, when it's a circus, I'm not saying, it's just, it's Blueface. Like
I've
kind of like
never
the
even
punchline of the
listened to
rap game.
Blueface. What is
You've heard
Blueface even?
you've heard
What's Blueface's
Tatiana?
song?
Bust
No.
down, Tatiana.
Oh, Bust It Down, Tatiana, that one.
I want to see you bust
Bust it
down. Yeah.
down.
And
Yeah,
then he
that's
has
all
his
I
own
know.
show on Zeus called Blue Girls Club, and he has a bunch of content with his baby mama,
Zeus.
Krishan Rock.
Zeus is like that newer kind of reality channel. They did what is it, like from VH1? There was like Chance and Real, and they had a show called The Real Chance of Love,
Yeah.
and now Chance, I think, just had a dating show on Zeus, right?
Right. Yeah. I haven't checked out Zeus personally myself, but yeah, it's for the ratchet reality shows.
As a ratchet reality aficionado, I kind of need to check out Zeus.
Yeah.
But I'm stuck in the past. I'd be watching all that stuff on Tubi.
Tubi,
I'm
not
a Tubi
Tubi.
TV person.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And also, eventually Tubi and like Pluto, those will be the ones rerunning my episode of the Cromwell show. So I mean, like,
just a quick recap of what I took away from the BET Awards last night. One, I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't watch the entire award show. I owe it to myself to do that at some point. The Migos tribute to Takeoff was beautiful. Definitely a tearjerker. R.I.P. Takeoff. You know what I mean? I saw Lotto win Best Female Hip Hop Artist. That was beautiful because the cast of Sisters gave her the award, and it was like women supporting women. That was great to see. And then, like I said, the regional tributes, and then Ice Spice's performance was so dope. I didn't get to see the tribute to Busta Rhymes, but because this year is hip hop's 50th celebration. What's up, Cameron? Because this year is hip hop's 50th anniversary. I think they went all out and went above and beyond. And if you notice, my logo for TPP right now is paying homage to BET. Grew up watching that, so yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think it was fire with background dancers and everything. It was all up to standard.
yeah, I have just been kind of reading some things here and there, and it sounds like it was really awesome. And the 50th anniversary of hip hop and the BET Awards, like I can only imagine it was like a huge production and beautifully put together and really showcased the diversity of hip hop, which I love. So
Yeah, absolutely. We love to see it.
yeah.
Well, music this week. Foxy, you want to tell us about what album you want us to listen to this week?
Yeah, so first, let me just pay attention. So we do usually do hip hop history here, but I just wanted to tell you guys that it was a boring day for hip hop through history for some reason. So June 26th, all that there was Run the Jewels' self-titled first album came out on June 26, 2013. So that's all we have for that.
Interesting. It's dope to see, like 10 years later, now Killer Mike just put out his first solo album, Michael, in 10 years, which we spoke on last week.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like, damn, now I want like a solo album from LP.
Right. For
Yeah.
sure. And honestly, like, when Run the Jewels came out, that was like really, really new. Like
Yeah,
that
it's very
type of
different.
that style, like which you hear a lot more common now. But that style at first I was like, damn, what the fuck is this? I think I had first heard Run the Jewels on Adult Swim.
I'm trying to remember. It was probably just in that blog era that I heard them, but I've been a Def Jux fan for years, and like there's other artists who are part of Dungeon Family who I was like loosely fucking with. So like yeah, I heard Killer Mike like way back in the day when he put out All Day I Dream About Sex.
Mm-hmm.
So and the whole world with Outkast. So
yeah,
I
that
was
was that era of rap that we were just talking about. That shit was on the radio at that same time too. God, the radio was so good back then.
Yeah, but I would have never fathomed like how those dudes came together.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever heard just kind of a nod also. There's a group that not hip hop, freaking Big Boy did with
Purple Ribbon All Stars.
no, he did it was with not Pentatonics,
Pentagram?
God. Yes. It was called Big Grams.
Big Grams.
Big Grams. Did you ever check out Big Grams?
You know what's funny? I have a Fantagram T-shirt, and it's like one of my favorite white tees, but I've never really listened to them like that.
Go listen to Big Grams for me. You're gonna fucking love it. And that
Say
also
no
I was
more.
introduced around the same time. Big Grams also came out, and it was almost a little similar to the Run the Jewels kind of feel. But that's not who we're talking about this week. We're talking about our music of the week now. So, do you want to start with your album of the week or mine?
I sure will. My album of the week was Don Kennedy and TeeFli. I Love Stalker. Now, this is just some South Central LA player music. Guys, I will be doing a more of an extensive deep dive on my channel for this album. But, you know, I think for a hip hop and R&B good combination, this is really what it's all about. And they're really singing to the ladies. You know, there's some great, you know, just like not just rap and singing duets on there, but there's just some. It's just this player quality where they're just talking to the
It's
women.
so
You
good.
know,
It's so good.
it's very good.
So it has very much, and it's crazy because the every week that goes by, and the more of these new albums and stuff I'm listening to, it's that specific like 2010 to 2014 vibe that I'm catching off of a lot of like the arrangements of this music and stuff. The first song that I listened to off this album, I Love Stalker, was called Pleasures, and it really had that 2010 to 2014 feel with like that auto tune, like R&B. And the way that they mix the R&B in this album with the rap, it's so good. Like it just flows, and it's like you feel like you're listening to like Too Short and like Usher at the same time, almost like fused.
Kind of, yeah, I get it. And you know, Don Kennedy makes great summer music. You know, and that
That's
an
what
LA
I
artist
wrote.
got to make great summer music. So, Taking Pictures was my favorite song just because they had that auto tune layer in it. And then Faded is a great song too because you know I like to smoke. You know, smoking with a lady can just really set the vibe right. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of gems I took away from this album.
I loved South Beach was my favorite track that I listened to off of the album. And it's funny because you had said it's good summer music. I said, I love how breezy this music is. It's just like a chill, relax, like kind of like have the windows down, drive around.
Exactly.
Like it's so good. You guys definitely, link in my bio for our playlist. I keep it on YouTube because it's that's what works best for my brain.
Yeah,
But all of this music is always on YouTube. I update it before the podcast every single week. Right now, we're up to like over 80 songs.
it's a lot of
Isn't
songs.
that awesome how fast that happened? Because you did 3 or 4 off of each album we talk about. It's like boom. And sometimes I'm like, my friends, we're all old. They're like, I don't listen to new music. I'm like, I can put you on to some shit. I can put on this playlist, and it's all music that's come out in the past couple of months.
There you go. Yeah, go listen to that playlist. We're talking about music here every week, and you can listen to exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Share and tell.
definitely. Yeah, I did really enjoy that album. I mean, there so far has not been anything you've had me listen to that I haven't actually like really enjoyed consuming. Definitely, I love Stalker. That's the name, or is it Stoker?
Stalker. It's a
Stalker.
street.
Okay.
It's a street in South Central LA.
Okay, I don't know. I'm in Washington.
Yeah, and I'm here.
Yeah, I know you're like the aficionado on all of this, and it's great because it's kind of fun how we get to like know each other a little bit through like the things that we're choosing. And it's like, I go through my thing like this week. I chose kind of some like bimbo-y music. So like we've got it all here on Beatbox.
It was some bubblegum pop, just like the
It
cute
was
shirt you're
bubblegum
wearing.
pop. It felt very
No, it
like
was cute.
Lady
Yeah,
Gaga art pop, like
I know.
very
Yeah, I
good.
was dancing to it.
Yeah, we'll start talking about my album of the week then. So I checked out I just got a very funny message through my phone. Somebody said, "Hey, I want to tell you about my most recent sexual encounter."
To be continued
I'm
on
totally
Foxy
that chick
Spicy
though.
Sites.
Like, listen, yeah, I'm a sex worker, but in my real life, my friends are so comfortable with me in that aspect of things too. Like, when I start my studio and I start producing stuff, I'm gonna make people so comfortable and make the best shit they've ever made. I
I got a
can't wait.
great topic for mental health next week that we can
Yeah, for
expand
sure.
on that. Then
So Kim Petras, I think is how you say it. Is it Petras or Patras?
it's Petrus.
Kim Petras, Feed the Beast came out today, I think, or no, it was 2 days ago. It came out. I had only heard about like her, and I heard that My Coconut song. I heard that on like TikTok and stuff, and I've heard her being talked about. And she was also in the "Stars Are Blind" song that we did the other week with Paris. She did the new one with her. And so Feed the Beast, I went into it with an open mind. I'm like, I could love or hate this. So I turned it on and started with the track Feed the Beast off of, the name of the title of the album. It was a catchy club anthem, definitely. That bubblegum pop, like you said, and it felt very art pop era, like Lady Gaga.
Right.
Again, not to fucking beat the horse, but 2010 to 2014 style of music, it's really in right now.
I was
It's like,
thinking the same thing because when I listened to the one with Lady Gaga alone, the song that samples "Better Off Alone" by Alice DJ, and I remembered how Wiz Khalifa sampled that same song on the song "Say Yeah," and I'm like, this makes me feel like I'm in high school, but in a good way.
yeah, Alice DJ, Better Off Alone. And that music video I put on the playlist. So they called it, what do they call it? Just Alone. And it's got Nicki Minaj on it with her. And it's sampled Alice DJ, Better Off Alone. If you guys don't know it, if you think about it, you're gonna know that song.
It's 90s
So
techno, they know it.
yeah, I mean, if you've ever been roller skating, like it's definitely a roller rink bop.
If you ever
Um,
went to the mall or to in the 90s, you know it.
Yeah, definitely. If you know what trip pants are, no. Did in LA you guys wear those big trip pants? I never wore them because I was always too fat for them.
I
But
wasn't around for that before my time.
hi, Cass. We're
Hey,
talking about
Cass.
Kim Petras right now. I checked out her new album. I was thinking about you
Another
when I
song off this album I want to shout out is "1,000 Pieces." I thought that was just a great pop record with a great hook.
Yeah, the one that I enjoyed most personally was called Sex Talk. It's like just a sexually empowering song. I liked the lyrics in it because I could kind of relate to it as in that comfortability between like having just that open type of talk with like my clients and my friends and stuff, and just that openness. It was a really good song. Also King of Hearts, and all I wrote for that one was, I'm really glad I listened to this girl.
Very cool.
Yeah, and
Now,
then there was this week, Mac Miller re-release of his album Watching Movies with the Sound Off. Um, I missed that era. I didn't listen to Mac Miller when he was alive, but in the past year, I've been checking him out a lot. So this was my first dip into this album.
um,
Have you listened to this?
yes, I have. Not the re-release, but the original definitely had some gems on it. And when I think about Mac Miller, I think about, there's the early work of his that I loved. I'm talking about like Kids and then his debut album, Blue Slide Park. But watching movies with the sound off was definitely one of the ones I was particularly fond of as well. Because he had the song Somebody Do Something with Flying Lotus, and then he had Objects in the Rear View. I forget who that was produced by, but I think around the time he was working with the internet. And then he had the song Okay with Tyler the Creator.
He has a song
So,
with Tyler, and he has a song with, I think it was Haji Beats. So
right. So when he's working with Odd Future, that was really tight to see. I know him and Earl had a lot of stuff that they did together as well.
yeah, there's a song with
Like,
Earl also.
yeah, with his stuff with Schoolboy, his stuff with Vince, and I think these artists at the time on the West Coast took really well to Mac. So Objects in the Rear View is definitely one of the ones I hold higher as far as the Mac Miller discography. As time went on, while he was still with us, I kind of drifted in and out of fanhood. But now, as I'm older, now that he's no longer with us, I'm kind of like starting to realize that what he meant uh, for us culturally as someone who was you know not only just white but like non-threatening, because you had white rappers before, like obviously like Eminem, but like crazy and out there, and then you had ICP, again crazy and out there. But for Mac to be as relatable as he was but still have that be the MC and then over time grow into this musician was incredible. So
He has a lot of
he is
parallels.
dearly missed.
He has a lot of parallels to Idea.
Yeah,
I when I listen to him, it's the same feel with Idea, and it's so sad that both of them are gone because both of them are really great
yeah,
representation of bridging, you know, the culture and being relevant to like everybody.
Yeah, if
Um,
Lil Peep is our Kurt Cobain, then Mac is our John Lennon.
I love that. Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
that's a quotable. Rest in peace.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that I got to see that that was the 10-year anniversary and re-release. And diving into it, I put like 4 or 5 songs on the playlist for you guys. They obviously they don't have the re-release available right now on YouTube, so I just put some of the thongs. I put the thongs on, guys. I just put songs that I listen to on there, and so if any of you are big Mac Miller fans and there's anything you would like me to check out, always feel free to show me some shit. I love music. That's how we get to know each other.
Exactly. It's a love language.
It really is. Your song of the week, I fucking loved it.
Yeah, G Perico, always delivers fire, always delivers quality. I reviewed a project he dropped earlier this year with DJ Drama. So, it's in my rotation now. I have not been let down by G Perico at all. I haven't met him or sat down with him. I've seen him perform like real up close and personal. But yeah, I definitely want to work with G Perico for sure.
Yeah, I really
The
enjoyed
track is
listening
called
to
Louder.
Louder. It
Yeah,
it
what
instantly
do you
was
think?
one of those songs that I was like, yeah, this feels good. This makes me kind of want to get crazy a little bit. Take some illicit substances now.
Take some illicit substances.
Well, y'all know, should I put my glasses on?
Yeah, not that.
You know,
Make you want to turn the fuck up.
one of my clients, he had the audacity. He says, "You look a lot better without your glasses on." I'm like, "Oh well, good, because I can't shoot fucking content if I can't see." So you guys are mean. You guys are mean with your glasses. Shit, we're blind.
Nerds with glasses. Yeah. Looking back at my Chicago interviews, I'm like, damn, so many people I interviewed for glasses.
Yeah, it's fun. Glasses crew. So my song of the week is Barbie World by Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj. And it's a remix of the original Barbie Girl song by Otxoa. Again, you'd have to be deep underneath the Titanic to not know that one. So this was a fun little under 3-minute song. I felt like there was a lot of product placement in the video. I was like, ugh! But it was made for a movie.
Yeah, it is for the soundtrack.
But that's why it's short and sweet, and it was just very on subject with Barbie. So it was fun. It was very pink. It was very Nicki Minaj. Ice Spice was there. So it was a nice little movie bop, little commercial hit. Treat
You
yourself.
can't go wrong
Sometimes
with that.
simple music is good.
When a good soundtrack song comes along, that they have no choice but to sample the old Barbie Girl one. So I guess they did their thing on that.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys know that Barbie, obviously, this bitch is gonna flip the fuck out when it releases. I'm having a whole ass Barbie sleepover. I'm having every girlfriend in the range of 300 miles that wants to come watch Barbie with me. We're having a Barbie night.
Now, Foxy, kick off just briefly your tips for sex workers before we bring our guests on.
Yeah. So we have our artist spotlight for this week, which we will be doing after. I just wanted to touch on my sex work tip for this week, or content creation in general. I know that we have people that don't just use spicy, or they just have content outside of that, much as yourself. Which one of yours is like half spicy and then half music. So you get it. You're like the border between the two. So the tip that I wanted to talk about, as I have been networking more, I have a lot of girls that reach out to me that are like, fuck, I want to do what you do. And I'm very realistic and very honest about the struggles and the realities. Like, man, you got to treat this like 2 full-time jobs. Like, I'm clocking 84 hours a week on my phone. I want to throw that shit in the river sometimes. Like, it's not always easy, and it's not always, as a lot of you saw my clip from Karamo, it's not jumping on the beds for 30 minutes and making money. You're also going to be like squatting over the bed and doing the most deep pelvic thrusting that you have of your life. To put it lightly, and the thing is that as I give this advice, I'm also finding girls that are already, doing this, and they're trying to like figure out how to like really make things work for them in a better way that like stresses them out less, and asking me for techniques, and eventually I will start a management company and help people. So for now I'm just giving as much good advice as I can, because we're only as strong as our network, right? I got to be good at what I do to sell the product of being a management company. So if I can't help anybody, then I ain't worth shit. So the big thing that I am finding is that when I do like a social media audit, meaning like I'll go on and I'll check out, fellow sex workers' social media and be like, hey, this is what other people are not going to want. You're using hashtags here. You shouldn't be using hashtags. You notice things when you're looking at multiple platforms, and branding is extremely important, you guys. Getting your brand, you want to stay pretty like, you want people when they go looking for you on any platform to be able to find you and to be able to put in one name, be able to find you by that. And I think that a lot of people, when they first start this, they don't really look at it like, oh, I'm building my empire here. And it is your business that you're building. So if you're selling a bag of chips, you're going to have a label for that bag of chips, right? You want somebody to look at your product and be like, oh, that's Foxy Box, or oh, that's Palm Media. That's the thickness. There's recognizable things, characteristics of your brand that you need to be focusing on. So my first tip for anybody that, I have a lot of people that have seen my stuff on Chromo and have followed me over here and been messaging me like, hey girl, I want to do this. First tip is use the same name on every platform, corner the market, get on every platform that you hear about. Even if it's not fruitful, you don't know if somebody's going to be like, I saw her here. I wonder if she's here. And they're going to want to spend their money on you in this spot. You want your name to be the same. With mine, it's Foxy Box. The only thing that is different is the X's in the end, which if anybody puts it in, it's coming up. And you want to always have the branding with your like photos. You want to like have your profile photo kind of be uniform, match up with your banner photo. You want your banner photo to have your graphics and your name and like, hey,
And
here's
to
a
my
little.
people in the palm tree, all the music artists, this all applies to you as well. All
It's
of this.
absolutely content creation as a
Yeah.
whole. Get that
By the way,
brand,
if you're a
and
music artist, you're a content creator.
it's true. That's content. That's the original, like the original influencers and stuff are musicians. And so it's just like that. The Beatles have a logo. So Miss Kitten 365 should have a little whiskers on her name or
I mean,
something.
get organized, get in uniform, get consistent.
Exactly.
Yeah, like my rule of thumb is, every day I'm posting on both accounts. I'm making sure like the logos are seen. I'm making sure that like, part of those clips of those conversations are being seen. So it's just consistency. That's the path to success.
Yeah, and even if you're diverse in the content that you're putting out there, whether it be spicy, non-spicy, if you're diverse in what you're doing, I'm not just doing one thing with what I'm doing, but my brand is consistent. I'm keeping my color scheme. I'm keeping that bright, bubbly kind of bimbo thing, even though I could get leather and kick your ass, but you're still going to find me by my bimbo branding.
Right. And
So
same thing. I've evolved in many ways because came in vaporwave, and then I kind of got like, loose with the Southern Cali palm tree theme, and then now it's a little more like video game VCR distorted as far as palm, and then I'm getting pretty uniform with thickness protection program. I started off a globe theme, now it's a peach, and then just like the thick girls, but now it's just about to probably just be itself. Just the clips and the interactions with the stars is just kind of going to be the whole theme of it. But I kind of thought of this thing like, what if I took the BBW style and the vaporwave style, mushed it together, and call it vaporwave?
I just made a burpee noise when I opened my mouth because I was so shocked. It went, ah. But like, I feel that so hard. I love that. So I also have wanted to make like a vaporwave style video, and I've been trying. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to do like the 1-800 kind of like, like
Oh
old
yeah,
VH.
a 90s call-in show. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of call-in, we got to bring in our next guest. He is a producer from Los Angeles. He has worked with a lot of dope names in the underground and a few in the mainstream. But he's just put out his new solo EP. It's called Cycles. Go check that out on all streaming platforms. Alexander Otxoa is about to join us. Let's invite him up on stage.
Hi.
What's up, bro?
Yeah,
You're
I'm
welcome,
really
man.
glad that you're here. So when Palm linked me to your stuff on your Spotify, I checked it out and I really like what you're doing. And you know, he has such great taste with the music that is there anything I should do with this sound?
No, that's all me.
Sorry.
That's all me. That's all me. My fault.
Anyway, he never points me in the wrong direction when it comes to music. So when I got to check out your stuff last month for our spotlight, we did one of my friends. So it was really fun to like now get to learn about you and your music. So what inspires you to be putting out music in this day and age? Like what keeps you going? It's live. It's the hazards of being
Now
live.
I don't feel so bad.
I love that also.
Classic.
Yeah, I think at a certain point it becomes kind of like your therapy. It's your coping skill for life. It's that art, and I think that that's truly like at the root of like being an artist is that it is like for your sanity in a lot of ways. Yeah, I love that so much, and like Dylan was saying, even music, spicy work like what I do, interview work like that's all of our, like, art form, and, you find yourself inspired by the small things in life, and that's what makes good fucking art, and so, it could be as small as, like, reading a book and, like, a chapter name sticking out to you, be like, "Fuck, I'm gonna make a song about that." I read an Anna Nicole Smith book, and I made a whole spicy movie about my interpretation of her life. So it's just it's beautiful and I love that so much.
The
If
one
there
thing,
was
Ochoa, that I love about your sound so much in particular is that, like, on Cycles, it's like when you want it to be a hip hop project, it's a hip hop project. And then when you want the alternative, it's an alternative. And I couldn't help but think to myself, did he call it Cycles because it's like cycling back and forth between these sounds and these moods? Can you break that down, bro? Well, I want to know, like, what do you do to go about selecting the right artist for the right beat?
Thank you. I love that. What's up, Andre? Appreciate you. What's up, Iggy? So yeah, with that project, I was really inspired. Kind of go back to what Bucky was saying. Like was I made one beat, and I was really inspired by the sound of it. I was really like happy with the way that like I was able to mesh like all the alternative guitar stuff with like some hip hop stuff, and I just started going down that lane and like starting to like create songs that stayed within kind of that vibe. And I did that all in one week, and then I really had like my 10 beats that fit within that vibe, and I was like, I know this is the project, so I just started hitting up some of my best friends, some of my homies who make music, and I'm really glad you asked that because everybody there was like, or everybody that I showed it to gave me like 100% of their effort. It wasn't just like oh okay I'll do this for you, or oh okay like I'll just get this over with like a feature type thing. Like everybody made a song, like a really important song to them that I feel like they'd be proud to release themselves, and I was really grateful for that, honestly. And I was really nervous, or like kind of like it felt kind of imposing to be like, oh, will you do this song for my project? Like, because you're asking somebody to do something for you, not for them to release.
Hmm.
And I was really, grateful and taken aback by all my friends. Like it sounds crazy. They might be like, bro, like, I do this for you, but at the same time, it just felt very a little imposing to ask that of them. But everything came together very organically, very beautifully, and I was really happy with the way everything came through. It's very obvious to pick those songs. The only song I felt nervous about putting on there was the one that I sang called "Enough Is Enough."
Right, and that ended up being one of my personal favorites.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that was probably the only one that I was like at the last minute, like I don't know if I'm gonna put this on. I was like, fuck it, I'll just put it out. Like this is, like I enjoy this song, so let me not be shy about it. Put it out there, and I'm glad you enjoy it. I've gotten a lot of great feedback on that song, and it's a song that means a lot to me personally.
So the project is out now. What do you have planned for it as far as like, are you going to be performing anything? Are you going to be doing release parties? How are you going to bring together all the artists who are on the tape, like in the same room?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something that I've been thinking about a lot. As far as performing goes, I am currently getting those sessions ready and getting my computer ready for like being able to take it live and performing. As far as getting the people together, it's not too hard just because everybody's like local. Everybody's really they're really like my good friends, and I'm really grateful to everybody that joined it. So it's really just about setting a date, which I currently am. I don't want to say anything too crazy about it right now, just because it's still being in the works and stuff. But yeah, videos are really kind of like next on my agenda. Just finding a good video person and getting together some visuals for the project because I really feel like every song deserves as much content as the collection videos do.
Live
Right.
podcast.
And I think you have such a diverse range, man. Just not only from the sounds you can produce, but to the artists you can work with. Like you've worked with Doja Cat, you've worked with Holland Is, and I really admire you for like the diversity of quality that you bring to your music. So
You shut my door open.
I really do. Thank you, dude. I'm just a fan of music, a fan of people, and I'm always grateful to be a part of anybody's project and anybody's, musical vision or journey.
excellent, excellent. Um, Alex, is there anything else you want to plug? Anybody you want to thank here on Beatbox?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, definitely check out the project cycles. It's something that I feel like it's pretty unique in the sense of like what I put together, what I offered. Like I'm really happy and satisfied with the way that all the sounds, genres blended together, all the people kind of flow into each other's stuff. As far as anybody
There you go.
Yeah, everybody make sure that you give him a like. Check out his new album over on Spotify. We'll also link it. I'll link it in my stories. I'm sure Palm can link it. Everybody follow everybody. We're all friends here. And I'm so glad that you came and talked with us. Like, what a treat. And I'm really glad that I got put onto your amazing music that you're making.
There you go.
Thanks.
Really enjoyed talking to you guys. Once again, grateful to be included on your guys' podcast. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Otxoa. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to Beatbox tonight. We will see you guys next Monday or next week, 7 o'clock. We love everybody here. Peace, love, Palm. We want thickness. Thank you, Foxy. Thank you, Otxoa.
Yeah, thank you guys. And we'll see you next week for episode 9. Can you fucking believe it?
Whoa, we're making some progress.
Yep. All right, guys. Everybody, take care of yourself. Drink your water and listen to other people's needs, not just your own.
All right, y'all.
Good night. Bye.